Welcome to the Galaxy Man Show. So, for my very first guest of this brand new week is this incredible singer known by the name of Roxie Grant. So, I'm about to add Roxie into the live now and have a chat with Roxie on the Galaxy Man Show for today's guest. She has just released a brand new release called Queasy Kinda Funny, and we're going to talk about Queasy Kinda Funny and all her other songs that she's made. So, yeah, let's add Roxie in and have a chat with Roxie.
Roxie, how's it
Good
going?
morning.
Morning. I just want to say first up, thank you so much for taking the time to join my show, Roxie. It is such an incredible pleasure having you on the show for today as the guest of this brand new week. Uh, to people that don't know who you are, Roxie, if you can give like a bit of backstory about yourself first, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Yay, thank you for having me. It's nice. I like talking about music lots and lots, so it's nice to be here. Yes, I am from the UK. I'm originally from, I don't know if you know the geography of the UK, but up north
Yeah.
near Northumberland, like near Scotland. But now I'm down south near Brighton, so on the south coast, so far, far away from where I grew up. Yeah, so that's where I'm like located down here. So it's a great music scene on the go down here. So it's really good place to be, kind of between London and Brighton. That's where I am. It's a great place.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now, Roxy. So for my very first question, you have just released a brand new song release called Queasy Kind of Funny. To people that don't know, people definitely go have a listen. It's such a great song, by the way. You
Thank
have
you.
done such an incredible job, by the way. What
Thanks.
was it like creating this song?
It was a weird experience. It was for people who don't know, it's been 10 days to the day that I created this song. So it was a little project. I'd already set a February release date for a different track, and so that was already there. And I was like, hey, it's January. And I was like, it'd be cool to like release a track every month this year. So I was like, well, I haven't got one for January. So I was like, well, that gives me 10 days to literally like write one, record it, get it released, and like all the admin and all the stuff that goes along with that. So it was a lot of nighttime writing and recording up at till 4 a.m. and then getting up the next day at 6:30 to carry on with real life. But it was incredible just where it kind of evolved really quickly in that lovely sort of quiet space of the nighttime, where I think your brain just goes into a different state and it's able to kind of just take in stuff from the, I don't know, from the universe, and I don't know where it comes from, but it goes there, and it was awesome. And yeah, I'm fortunate that I've got like a lot of instruments that I can play about with. So it was nice that over this sort of last little while I've been building my home studio, which has meant that I can kind of work late into the night, and that's been a really good thing for me to be able to not have to rely on going into studios all the time and working with other people. I mean, it's great having people to work with and bounce ideas around with. So this was kind of a really I'm really proud to have like achieved this in such a short space of time. So I'm really proud of the song. I think I love it.
Well, I definitely recommend everyone definitely go have a listen to Queasy Kind of Funny. As I said, it's a great song, and highly recommend it for everyone to have a listen to. So, on to my next question for you, Roxy. So, you have also created a song called Mutual Muses, which is another fantastic title of
Thank
the song.
you.
Like, what was it like creating this one, and what's the meaning behind Mutual Muses?
So mutual muses is like that situation where you find you've got a connection with somebody. Of late, I've built a really good community of musicians, and it's not necessarily like a romantic relationship, but it's when you find that really, really deep connection that you can talk to somebody till all hours of the night about music and things, and you just really, really inspire each other to to um, to work together and to collaborate, or to do your projects and things. So it's kind of like mutual music encapsulates that really intense emotion that you can feel. Um, it's that, and it's not a sad song. It's got like a very kind of low melancholy quietness to it, but it's actually a really kind of hopeful song, and it's really nice. But it's funny how it came about, because I was on a trip to Chamonix in France, and I was trying to play a cover song of a different song. I'm not very good at playing covers, because I go, oh, that's a nice chord, I'll go and use that in a different song, and that's how it ended up happening. It just evolved, and I wrote it sitting on the balcony in the mountains, so it was just like a beautiful setting to write such a kind of emotive song. Nice place to be. And then I came back and recorded it.
That's
It's
awesome.
good.
So on to my very next question for you, Roxy. So you've also created a song called Kansas City. What was it like creating this one, and what's the meaning behind this song?
Okay, so Kansas City is the first song that I released, so it took me ages and ages to actually get on and put it out, because I was really nervous about putting out that one. It was like the first thing that I'd ever really recorded myself, and so that was a bit nerve-wracking. Kansas City is this sort of, it's a person, so, but it kind of like encapsulates the meaning behind, if you've got somebody who you've met, it's a lot about connection with people again, but it's you've made this connection, but the circumstances aren't right for you and that person. So within the song, they're going away, and you're like, I really want to meet you, I want more with you, but this is not going to work. And so that person becomes the Kansas City. Like, there'll probably be loads of Kansas City people within your life that you meet, and you'll be like, oh, I want to be with you more, but the time's not right. So like, this is your Kansas City person. So yeah, that's where that came about. Kind of a sad
So,
one, that.
yes.
But
What
that's
does
a great song.
connection, I was going to ask, because like you mentioned connections and stuff. What does connection mean to you, like as an artist?
What's connection mean as an artist? I think it's just, you get that passionate feeling. And I think as well, like with connecting with people while I'm telling these stories, I love it when I'm playing live, and I'll tell people a bit about the story, about the song beforehand, and they're like, oh yes, like I feel I get that as well. So I love that it can be connecting my stories with other people, and like getting them to recognize their own emotions and feelings towards things as well.
So on to my very next question. So you've also created a song called Karazaki. Hope I said that right too, by the way. Karazaki, good old Karazaki. So what was it like creating this one, and what's the meaning behind this song?
That was it's a strange one. When I'm driving, I think my brain goes into like a very relaxed state, so I just like memories pop in my head and stuff. And I was driving along, and this Kawasaki motorbike came past me, and I was like, oh yeah. And this whole story evolved, and the person that sat next to me, I was like, quick, get your phone. Like, I started dictating all of these lyrics. I was like, you need to write this down because I'm going to forget it. So they wrote it down for me, and then I came home and I just like played about on the keyboard to get it. And that's another one that was written quite quickly, because of these memories and sort of thoughts about a situation coming back. It's a bit of an unusual one, Kawasaki, because it's kind of like the realization of like being quite naive in a relationship, and realizing that something's not quite right there, and that you've maybe been taken for granted, and slightly abused. It's a bit narcissistic, and that you've been gaslighted. So it's got like, although it's quite upbeat, it's got like a really dark kind of undertone to it, and it's about asking for help and making sure that you're looked after and you're doing the right things. Yeah, and so that's where that one came from. But I like that one as well.
So on to my very next question. So what made you decide as an artist that you wanted to start like outing singing in the first place? Like, what made you say, hey, I want to be a singer? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, actually, and I don't remember a time where I wasn't doing music of some description. Like, one of my earliest memories was my mum making some dinner, and we had an old cassette player, and she was just like, oh, just stop, did whatever I was doing that was naughty, and she put the cassette on to record. And I just remember like singing, like improvising into this cassette tape player thing, and I'm pretty sure they've probably still got the cassette somewhere, like 3-year-old singing about something. But I still remember that song that I sang then to this day, so maybe I'll write it into an actual one now. But it just progressed for my whole life, really. Then is been based around performing arts, drama based things, musicals, shows, and then working with young people in that kind of aspect as well. So I've done a lot of that throughout my whole career. And then only recently, like in the last 18 months, 2 years, because I used to play in bands back home. So it was always nice to have that kind of group situation. And then recently I kind of was, I knew it was going to be my biggest regret if I didn't pursue it myself, because I have a lot of stories to tell, a lot of things that I can do. And I read the book, I don't know if you've ever come across it, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig.
I've heard of it.
It's an amazing book. I mean, the essence of the story, I won't give too much away, is that if you were to die, what would you regret? So I was like, that was my biggest takeaway from that. I was like, oh, okay, it would be not doing music. So I was like, gotta go for it. And it has been an incredible experience so far, and I'm incredibly happy that I have gone for it, because yes, it's been a great journey. I'm still on it. I'm loving it.
So on to my very next question. So what does performing music mean to you? Like when you're performing in front of crowds, like what does it mean to you as an artist?
It's such a strange feeling. It's sorry, my dog has just gone to bed, but she's like making noises. I love it. It's not scary. The very first time I went up to perform live, I took my friend with me, and I was absolutely terrified. And then after that, I was like, oh, I adore this, and I can't put my finger on what it is exactly, but I love sharing my stories, and I love performing my own songs for people. It's just a beautiful experience. There's nothing like that feeling that when you're standing on stage performing your songs for people, and they're connecting with it, and then afterwards, like talking to people, and they come up with their own stories, where it's again this connection thing, where they've gone, oh well, that reminds me of when I was doing such and such a thing, and they'll come and tell me these things. I'm like, it makes me so happy that they've connected with it on their level from their own experiences, and that I get to meet all these people, and it's really, I love it.
So on to my very next question. So if you could work with any top 3 music artists in the music industry, who would they be and why?
This was a really difficult thing to ask me, because there are just so many cool people. But I think so. Personally, I think I'm kind of like an indie folky type person, and a lot of people that I've encountered recently have been a lot of Australian folk people, and they are amazing. There's such a good vibe with those people, and I find that's a little bit different from things that I write. So I would really love to collaborate with somebody like Ziggy Alberts or Kim Churchill or Felipe Baldomir, somebody like those guys that are really like having fun, that kind of really chill, travel-y, surfery kind of thing going on. But then there is another aspect to me as well, which I really like more. I'd like to explore a little bit more, is more like a dance, drum and bass kind of thing. I'd like to do something that's really like heavy.
Yes.
So I think I'm working, there's a little project I've got going on that's just coming up with some like garage house kind of thing that's happening. Then there's the other side of me, which next Friday I've got another track coming out called $5 Fortune, and it is a lot heavier than my normal stuff, and I absolutely adore this song, so I can't wait for this to come out. It's so good, personally. I think so. But it's very Linkin Park, Evanescence kind of vibe to it. A lot more heavier guitars, like there's a really cool guitar riff in it. So a bit more like that. Yeah, just got a lot of a mix of things. So maybe working with somebody who's a little bit heavier. I don't know, like I really like Imagine Dragons. I think I would love to work with them. They would be a great kind of people to work with. Yeah. Lots of people.
I know, right? There's a really good band, by the way. I'll mention them. I actually had them on my show. They're called the Blanks, by the way, and they're very similar. I don't know if you like the Beatles kind of like artists.
Yeah.
So they're very similar to the Beatles,
Right.
and I highly recommend the Blanks. They're like living a part of the UK, but great band, very similar to the
Yeah.
Beatles. The Blanks are definitely like an upbeat kind of band, like new artist band that are really incredible to like check out. But like UK, highly recommend them.
I will look them up. Yeah, that sounds fun.
So on to my very next question for you. So if you could go anywhere to any country, go on tour as an artist, what destination would you want to go to and why?
Yeah, I think following on from my last one was it's got to be Australia. I've never been. I would love to come there. My one of my best friends lives in Sydney, and I do intend to visit her at some point. But then head up to Byron Bay. I think there's up to Byron Bay. Yeah, along. So because that seems like a really cool vibe in Byron, and then explore. I think it'd be amazing to like get a van and do a lovely tour around Australia and check it out and see
Would
what's up.
would there be any animals that you want to check out?
Probably kangaroos.
Kangaroos. Yes.
I wouldn't mind saying hello to some snakes.
True. Okay.
I'm sure I'd encounter a lot of them.
True. I love that. So on to my very next question for you, Roxie. So if you could give your younger self advice, and if you could go anywhere to, like, if you could travel anywhere, go like through time and space, or whatever, as an artist, what century would you want to go to and why?
Century. Well, I know like decade.
Okay.
Well, sort of, it's like a cusp of a decade. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's like the late 60s, early 70s. It's that would be my place to go to. Like it's so raw and was so free and so like experimental, and people were just like trying different things out, kind of coming through from rock and roll and blues and really developing into this new way of doing things. And really, I think it was such an influential period of time. There's a book that I've been reading recently called this one. See that?
True. Yes.
So that's an awesome book. So it's like that time you don't know that you're living this amazing piece of history until it's gone. So that 1970s would be cool. But my younger self, I mean, she wouldn't have listened to me anyway. But
Okay.
I would tell her to keep practicing, practice hard, learn her instruments, because the skills of musicianship are brilliant to learn. And I think for any young person that has any interest in being a musician now, I think it's really, really, really important to still keep that skill alive, like whatever instrument that you're choosing. It's dead easy to pick up a computer program and do it all on there, which I think is a fantastic way of being able to do things now. But then transferring those skills over to the live situation is such, again, connecting with people, showing that you can sing and play an instrument or with a band. It creates such a different atmosphere, and I think that's a really important thing. So I would tell her to stick in her instruments and learn it and do it really well. Because
So on to my very next question, on to the advice part. So if you could give any upcoming artists advice, like what advice would you give to upcoming artists that want to start out in music?
make it for you. make your art for yourself, do what you want. I think as well, if you're still kind of an independent artist like me, and you can have that luxury, I suppose, of not being dictated to by a label or something. I mean, that's lovely to have that backing, but do it for you. Do what feels authentic to you, and you won't kind of be anxious and worried about it, because if you like it, it will find its people. Your music will find the right people at the right time. And just to take little baby steps as well, because a lot of people will have this like grand idea that they want to be like Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran or whoever, and there's a huge gap between where they are and that can create a massive amount of frustration and despondency. And I think it's just about remembering that it's a journey, and there's so much must have it now instant gratification with a lot of people. That for some people it does happen instantly, like it could just like go viral immediately, but it's maybe not necessarily a good thing for them as a person, because they've not had all these little wins and little failures and that have created who they are along the way. And I think that's a massive part of the journey, is the trial and error and working things out and figuring out what works and what doesn't. And but just to keep going, because there's this infographic that I always have in my mind. It's like these two little guys that are in a like a field, and they're both digging for diamonds, and we can see the one diamond's up here and one's down here, and this guy, he gets his diamond first and he walks off, but this guy's this far away from digging up his diamond, but he's like, oh, that guy's got big diamonds, oh, I better just stop now. But he didn't know that he's that close to it. So that's the thing that's always in my mind, that just got to keep going. Even if you've had a crappy time, just keep going and you'll get there. Yeah.
So on to my last question for you, Roxie. What's next for you for 2024?
Oh, 2024, seems like there's a lot of songs going to be coming out. And people keep saying to me, why don't you write an album? I just don't think that's, at this point, I don't feel like that's the right thing for me to do. So I'm gonna see where it goes. I might release more than like one a month, depending on how much writing goes on. But no, I'm excited just to get these ones done. I think I've recorded up until like the middle of the year already, so they're all set, ready to go. And then the next few kind of are in progress. And then for once, I'm not a Christmassy person, but I think I might have to write a Christmas song. I think I might have to. So I've already started writing that one. So this is the year of the Christmas tune. And then I'll probably put them into an album, collate them together, and then go from there after that. But a lot more playing live. I intend to play some festivals this summer. Going to some festivals as well. There's a great one near us called Black Deer Festival. It's a festival of Americana. Sheryl Crow is headlining that one, so hopefully we'll be playing there as well at some point. And yeah, just releasing songs and reaching people, and like you said, connecting with people, and getting out still playing live because I love it.
So I just want to say thank you so much, Roxie. It has been such an incredible pleasure having you on the show. Everyone, go support more inspiring artists like Roxie. Any last final thoughts that you'd like to share to people on the show, by the way?
Can I recommend a book?
You may.
If anyone hasn't seen it, Rick Rubin's book. That's the one, the Creative Act, A Way of Being. I suggest read it first thing in the morning, little snippet, and then it will set your mind for the day, ready to go into your day and being creative. So I think that's a great way to start your day.
Yes.